Howdy, everybody. I'm Susan with Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
And I'm Monica.
And we're here because we like to explore and share with all of you this rich intersection of where nature, culture, and history come together. I got it.
Thank God.
You know, but we also, so this episode today is really a reintroduction because we've gained a lot of new subscribers and followers over the past 4 or 5 months that we've been putting our stuff out.
Yes, and we really appreciate everybody that's subscribing.
We do. And so today we thought, well, let's harken back to when we started this way back in, I guess we started in April.
Yeah, I think it was April.
So when we started in April, it had been a little idea in my head. So I had retired about 5 years ago, and I said, Susie, what should we do in retirement? And I said, I've always wanted to go out and go see the national parks and national monuments. And I was always big in going into national battlefields because I love our battlefield parks. I just have always loved going to battlefield parks. I don't know why, but I always have. I have a rich, I don't know.
Sure, yeah, history, historical content.
Something like that. So when I retired, I went and bought a 4Runner, and I said, I'm hitting the road, Jack. And I hit the road, and I went to a bunch of parks and lots of monuments and battlefields and all that stuff, and basically hit about 181 of the 433. And when I came back from a lot of those trips, I'm like, gosh, I would really like to share these experiences because I think there's so much out there to share with folks. And I really wanted to find a way to do that. And I thought, I could probably do a podcast, but I couldn't do a podcast on my own because I'm just not that exciting. Well, maybe I am, but maybe I'm not either. So I thought, well, I wonder if I could find somebody else who's also retired who might want to do this with me. And
Sucker.
in comes Monica, El Sucker on the head.
Yeah. I don't like history at all. No. I'm not a history person. I'm not a battlefield park person. And when we started this, at first I thought I had only been to 5 national parks. Turns out I've actually been to a couple more than I thought I had.
Woo!
Which is good, but certainly not how many have you been to?
181.
See how quickly she just comes up with that? It's 181.
I have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She keeps a spreadsheet. I do not. I've been to a few national parks and mostly a lot of state parks because I really like being outside. Being outdoors is enjoyable for me. And I like camping. I say liked. I like camping. But, you get to a point, I think, in your life at your age or at your weight or whatever it is.
Pick
where you're
something.
where you're like, sleeping on the ground is not for me anymore.
Yeah. That's like a no.
Yeah. I mean, I never truly enjoyed it, but it was tolerable and it was worth the effort and the discomfort to do so, to be camping. I liked camping. I really wasn't much of a hiker, but camping, yes, I like camping.
Well, and that's where, I look at the things that I really enjoy and the things that you really enjoy is what really brought us together. Mm-hmm. And we thought, we really have a way that we can reach out to folks with our particular angles, right? And that when we talk about this rich intersection of cultural and natural and historical, Monica and I both really enjoy different aspects of those things,
yes.
Right? And so we're not the only people that enjoy that. And we've thought this might be a really good way to share it with all of y'all.
Yeah, this was her idea. I got sucked in.
Because sometimes it happens that way.
Unfortunately, sometimes it does. But I have to say I have been enjoying... I'm almost reticent to admit that I have been enjoying some of the historical aspects of what I've learned as I've been writing the blog. We do the podcast, which you're listening to hopefully here or somewhere else. But then there's also an accompanying blog, and that's where I've taken a lot of time to do those blog posts and have really learned a lot.
Because, and that's been my whole thing about is I would go out and visit these places about like that only get like the top, NPS sites, National Park Service sites are going to be like, they get 17 million, visitors or 14 million. But then you get some that are really small that only get maybe 20,000 visitors a year. But some of those smaller ones are the ones that really pack a punch in terms of what you learn from a cultural perspective or, from a historical perspective.
Right.
And then it's expanding out beyond that even to other cultural centers and heritage sites and state parks and, all of these places that we can just go out and enjoy. And the thing that always set me back before I retired but why I was always kind of a little skittish about ever wanting to say I went out and hiked is that I didn't think it was for people that looked like me, that were older, that were chunkier, it's like, I'm not, fit and going to do a 15-mile hike, never going to happen. But there are people like us that want to get out, still enjoy the outdoors, and do a 3, 5, whatever mile hike and get pure enjoyment out of doing it.
Exactly. Because for me, I liked camping. Like I said, I liked backpacking. I liked car camping. But my backpacking, I wasn't backpacking to hike and see the scenery necessarily. I was backpacking to get to a spot to set up my camp so that I could camp outside. And then when that got a little cumbersome, I bought my first travel trailer and then switched to an RV. And that's when I started hiking, because at that point I didn't have to worry about setting up a camp anywhere. Now I could take my camp with me. And now I had, great, you can't just you can't really sit around a campsite for,
all
3
day.
days and do nothing. So now there's hiking trails, and now I'm like, well, I could do this, and that's kind of where my love of hiking came in. Mm-hmm. So this was not something that started when I was much, much younger.
Yeah, no.
It started, maybe 15 years ago.
Because as we both retired even, it's like we can accentuate it now. We can spend even more time doing it and also then share it with y'all these experiences, which is really why we're doing this whole thing.
Right. Because hiking is I suppose it's a sport of sorts, but it's not something that you don't have to have special equipment to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, we promote hiking sticks because we think it's a good thing to use and it's beneficial for you. And there's lots of ways it's beneficial for you, and we will eventually talk about that. Mm-hmm. But that you don't need to have them to go hiking.
Yeah.
Now, as you get older, you might want some things that will support you in your hiking, especially if you're hiking on uneven terrain.
They become creature comforts, right? It's like,
Exactly.
I can make this a little bit better for myself if I just get this.
Right.
And of course, there's a whole rabbit hole to go
Exactly.
To go down with that.
And we both agreed that you don't have to be, and I've never been, and I don't think Susan has ever been, the kind of person that's like, I got to get up and do 12 miles today.
Oh, heck no.
No. And you don't have to do that. That's the beauty about hiking, I think, and beauty about going to national parks or state parks or city parks or even, conservation, wherever you go. You don't have to have any kind of set limit on yourself unless you want it. And that's what we're really trying to tell people is that if you only want to go in and do a mile, half mile, a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, then do it. If you are, you think I'm going to do a 5-mile hike and about a mile and a half into it, you're like, I don't think I can do that. Then you walk back.
That's right.
There's no shame in your game.
Well, and, because we're not like huge influencers of anything, right?
Exactly.
And you can see a lot of those type of people, and no discredit to them, but they're the super duper kind of hiker people kind of folks, right? And we're never going to be that. We're not experts at it. We are just two regular gals that want to get out and explore and enjoy and learn as we do it. And this is what we're trying to bring to you as well.
Right. So your benefits, the benefits that come in for you doing this aren't just physical. There's mental benefits to hiking. There are, of course, physical benefits to hiking, but there's also that sense of, I think, that peace that I get being outside. Of course, it's good for you emotionally and mentally, but there's also just a set, an idea of breathing, when you're out there. And I enjoy that. And I know you enjoy the history part and the parks part. So we do our best to kind of mix the
Bring those
hiking,
together.
yeah, and put everything together.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, I think that hits the nail on the head. And we're doing this as a reintroduction because we have gained a lot of subscribers, and we really appreciate all the subscribers that we've gotten up to this point. There are some of y'all, Mr. Tom is out there who likes to watch our videos, and Sandy.
Sandy's out there, and Sandy was one of the people that, this is the kind of people that we're trying to say that have never been out, that have never been hikers, that come back to us and say, you've influenced us or influenced me to go out and do something. That's cool. That's everything. Yeah, that's everything. Even if it's just one or two people out there that feel like they can be emboldened to get up and do something.
Because that's just it. Is that we're really trying to make sure that you can just go out and go start something.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be anything grand. And it doesn't have to be something that you say, I hiked, Kilimanjaro, whatever. It's not like that. It's just getting out and enjoying and then sharing it with your friends.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
So hopefully you continue to watch the episodes that we put out every Thursday at 10 o'clock. Many different ways that you can support the work that we're doing here at Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks. And one of them is certainly subscribing here on our YouTube channel. And then sharing with your friends, getting notifications for when things, kick off or get dropped, because that's always important.
Putting a thumbs up on the videos.
Yeah. And then...
Well, I was going to say, you can also listen to our podcasts on Acast, on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon.
Pretty much anywhere you can download
anywhere
a podcast.
You can get a podcast, you can listen to us there.
Yeah, you can. But we're quite the visual, so you might want to just see us on YouTube. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, sure, there's that.
But then we also have merch, which Monica is modeling our beautiful merch that we have.
Yes.
So you can always... But that'll also be...
Yes.
There's a link in our description that will show
Stickers.
that. And so you can support us through that. And you can also support us through Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah. You can go to the website, Buy Me a Coffee, and just look up Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks, and you can buy us a coffee. And then we mentioned it before, we do have a blog at our website, twochickswithhikingsticks.com. And there's an accompanying blog to pretty much every video, every podcast that we do.
Yes.
But there's also other things on there. There's, you can find all the audio recordings, or if you're looking for just the videos and you want to read the blogs, I get it. There's a lot of history in those blogs. And there's also, a blog, a small entry on how to subscribe if you're not sure how to subscribe on YouTube. There's one page where there's downloadable hiking checklists. Yes. There's a downloadable checklist, I think, for the Camino Real de Tejas episode that we did. If you want to follow the Camino and check things off as you go, we've got a checklist for Big Thicket. There's a link to NPS on how to get ready to go to national parks and do some hiking if you want.
A link to state parks.
Mm-hmm. And a link to that if you can look for certain states and find the state parks in that state. So the blog has a plethora of information for you.
We are a wealth of information.
That's right. Damn it.
So follow us. Subscribe to us. So again, we appreciate all of you being here. And if you are new here, welcome to the family here. Welcome to the Two Chickshood. And we hope you continue to
be an
stay
ambassador.
With us. Yeah, be an ambassador.
Like my friend Joe.
We need ambassadors.
That's right.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything.
I think it does.
And we always like to say at the end is hike your own hike. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.